Welcome to another episode of Face to Facetime. My name's John Ryan, and I have a guest today. His name is Iddo Goldberg. He's one of those famous actors that's can still go places and not get hassled. He's been in everything, and he's had key roles in it. He's not one of those been in things as an extra or anything like that. He's a very established, very good actor. These key roles that are awesome. He is in a new TV show called Snowpiercer, based off of the movie by Bong Joon-Ho. Maybe you heard of him. Maybe you heard of a movie called Parasite that was written and directed by Bong Joon-Ho that won, the Oscar of the year last year. So based off of the movie that he made called Snowpiercer, they have a TV show called Snowpiercer. Iddo Goldberg is on the TV show called Snowpiercer. Are you following? Hope you are. Am I mansplaining that enough well to you? Wow. Can't talk. Anyway, I got Iddo on the show today. I know Iddo because we both directed music videos for a band called Outside, and we would always sort of bounce ideas off of each other and try to figure out what maybe the next idea would be for this band. We were very excited about making music videos. He's a very established actor, but he also directs stuff. He's got a short coming out. I'm going to ask him a little bit about that. I'm going to ask him a little bit about that. And he's a photographer, really good photographer. Check him out on Instagram, Iddo Goldberg. Make sure and like and subscribe my stuff for Face to Facetime on YouTube. Also, anywhere you listen to podcasts, rate and review there. The Instagram, Face to Facetime. And I'm going to give Iddo a call here. Iddo, baby.
Hello, baby.
How you doing, baby?
How's it going, mate?
I totally forgot to put your headphones on. I'm going to put your headphones on you.
Do I need to put headphones on?
No. Here, look.
Oh, thanks, bro.
There you go.
Thanks, mate.
All right. What's that on your screen? It looks like...
This is... I'm just kind of making last adjustment to... Did I tell you I directed a short film?
Is it Traumatica?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me the script.
Yeah. Oh my god, of course I did.
That's right.
It was so long ago, so...
I know. But that's the footage?
That's the footage, man. So I'm just kind of playing around with stuff before it's about to go to color. An amazing colorist, Aubrey, is about to get hold of it, who is a genius.
So you're doing last minute sort of...
Yeah, I'm just kind
tweaks.
of yeah, exactly. You know what it's like. It's just really hard to kind of let it go.
Yeah, those are my favorite parts though, when you're about to send something to color, because once you send it to color or mix or anything like that, it's you can't really touch it anymore. So the last few adjustments are kind of exciting, to be honest, I think.
It's been such an epic journey, and painful because how many times you fuck up and how many times you just don't do things right, or you know that you didn't go into depth enough, but putting that all to one side, it was so amazing. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I loved the script. I mean, at this point, no one will have ever even watched it because it's probably not going to be out by the time I put this out. But Iddo wrote a script and sent it to me 6 months ago now, right? Even maybe more.
Well, we shot this. I shot this. I was doing the first season of Snowpiercer, and I started talking to John, Michael Powell, the writer.
Right.
And I had this story, and I had it in my head for a while, and it kind of... I think I sent you the script at the end of the first season of Snowpiercer, and I had like about 4 months or something to get it together because I couldn't have gone back to Vancouver and started shooting the second season of Snowpiercer had I not shot this film, because I would have just gone mad.
Yeah.
So there was like a deadline, and we got some incredible people on it, and it was just amazing. So yeah, that's still very much lots of stuff to do on it still, but amazing experience.
Was it how's the, because I know there was like a part where there was quite a bit of graphics in it, right? Not to spoil anything, but it's like some CG stuff, right?
Some CG stuff, yeah.
Did you already get that done? Does that happen now, or does that happen? What does that happen for you?
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen in the next 3 weeks. I think the plan is to try and get it in for Telluride. I mean, which would be amazing. And I never even set out to make this to kind of, I guess, show anyone. I kind of wanted it to be like a proof of concept. But
for what? A bigger pitch?
Everyone, well, yeah, for the longer form version of the story, and it's it's ultimately a story about someone who finds kind of direction through major loss and pain, and but he gets to a point where he gets to live in the present for however long, but he gets to really be alive, and so this is I guess the plan is to kind of get this together and get a really tight script together and to get it out there to people. I mean, this is how people do stuff all the time, but this is the first time I've ever trying something like this.
Are you trying to? Do you think it's like a feature idea, or do you think it's like a series?
I would love to make this a feature. I would love to make it like a scrappy kind of dirty, slightly kind of there's slight elements of like high tech medical science in it, but I often find that really good sci-fi and really kind of far out thinking films kind of sit really well in lo-fi. When things aren't shiny and fresh and
actually
they're touchable.
Right.
What is that amazing film? I'm 44. I'm losing my memory already. It's terrible. What's that amazing film about time travel?
It's called. Well, there's one called Time Machine with Guy Pearce.
Machine. It's not that. It's not Back to the Future. It's the one with. Okay, sorry. I'm the first asshole to Google something like.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna open my LaCroix. This is the whole goal of this, is to just kind of still, try to hang out with people in what seems to look like a bar in my apartment. And my dog's barking. Penny.
Wait, so you're having a beer?
No, this is a LaCroix.
Okay. Why did I say beer?
Because I'm in a bar. It seems like
beer in my head. Because you are in a bar. Do you ever have beers there?
No, I kind of quit drinking like a few months ago, I guess. Whenever this thing started, I just stopped drinking.
Really?
Yeah, it kind of felt weird to just sit here and drink alone. Like, I don't have roommates. I don't really have people I'm hanging out with, so it's like, am I just going to sit here and drink alone?
Yeah, that's the slippery slope.
Yeah. But, Time Machine. But I kind of want to... Okay, you can look it up. Don't tell me what it is. I'm going to keep spouting out Time Machine movies. Alright? There's one called Time Crimes that is great.
Okay. Listen, I have it, and it's with... I'm such an idiot as well, because it stars an incredibly talented actor who I know very well, actually. A guy called David Sullivan. Does that ring any bells to you?
Primer. Sundance Juiciness Primer from like 2003 or 4.
I apologize, David Sullivan, for taking such a long time to remember the name of your incredibly amazing movie.
He's going to be on the show soon, and I'm going to tell him about this.
Okay.
But yeah, Primer.
Okay, yeah. Don't tell him I was such an airhead. Well, he's going to see it. So I kind of feel like far out big thinking ideas sit so well in lo-fi.
Yeah.
So
Because
so
that movie made it seem like you could do that. Like you could go build that time machine in a storage unit and do it.
Yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
speaking basic math terms. They weren't necessarily making it feel like you needed a big laboratory. I mean, they made it. You're right. It felt touchable.
If I half got the hang of it, they were speaking it in real simple math terms. Like, you know, if I could kind of understand it, anyone can. And that's, you know, that's kind of like that would be the kind of world in which the story that I'm kind of trying to put together would live in. But I think it's more kind of it's leading more to the likes of like your Larry Clarks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Which again, I mean, like I'm not trying to do anything really cool, obviously. You know, like there's such heroes, but that's those are the worlds that kind of feel touchable to me.
Can I get a clip preview since we're FaceTiming? Just a 5-second play.
Okay. Wow. All right.
You're on the spot, man.
Damn, girl. Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, why don't we just show you a little bit at the beginning?
Oh, cool.
Wow, I didn't know that this was going to be a thing, but it's a thing. It's turned into a thing.
Baby.
Okay, so this has not even gone to color or sound, but...
Yes.
I had this moment in my mind. I saw this cat. I know the way the cat feels. It's like I know the words to describe it. Soft. But the feeling of soft is new.
But how did the dream end?
It wasn't a dream.
What was it?
I don't know. But it wasn't a dream.
Okay, how did this vision end? Chris? What happened to the cat? You okay?
Ooh, what happened to the cat? I mean,
What happened to the cat?
all right, so this is a short film that Iddo. What did you directed it, right?
Yeah.
And it was written by what's his name? John Michelle Powell?
John Michael Powell, yeah.
John Michael Powell.
My story that he wrote with me, well, he wrote, I mean, I kind of wrote really bad, horrible things, sent it to him, and he made, like, my, like, seem like, oh, wow, okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love how it's you're right, this lo-fi thing really brings you in. It makes you feel like it's not. And then you also have a huge star right there. And for people that are just listening, one of the other voices in there was a friend. It was David Schwimmer. That was a surprise to me. I didn't want to say anything while it was playing because I was so into it, but it was a surprise because then you just see David Schwimmer randomly and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Well, you know, he's someone that I've known for years, and I always wanted to direct him in something, but it was, you know, like I didn't want to just kind of bring him any old thing, and you know, this kid ends up having this great relationship with a psychotherapist, so it's kind of like this really interesting relationship, and you know, that's obviously a really tricky kind of relationship to try and portray as well, because they've been done so well before, you know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's so good in it. You know, our young kid Seth Wright, who stars in the film, Dendry Taylor. I mean, there's just like everyone's just like really, really fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like it's, you know, going to be acted really well. I mean, and that was only like 60 seconds, but I could see some preview of some chops from David there. From
Dude,
the
he's
Schwimmer.
killer. He's killer in this. He's really killer in this. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I noticed that you had because some people that don't know also, Iddo is also an incredible photographer. As much as he's an actor and a director, he's also a really good photographer, and he shoots a lot on film. And I saw that you had shot David Schwimmer before, and so I didn't know if he was like your friend or what, but
we'd met on a film, a John Avnet movie. It was written by John Avnet and Aaron Brickman years ago, called Uprising. It was all about the story about the uprising of the Warsaw Ghetto, and it was such an incredible experience. The first time I'd kind of worked on something of that multitude, and it was really, really fantastic. And David was in it, and he was just such a dude, and I just kind of kept in touch with him. And yeah, this was just, you know, this was just perfect. This was absolutely like a perfect role for him. And I think what's going to be interesting about that character in a longer form version of this is we're going to be able to spend a lot more time with him, and the kind of the things, the turmoil that he's kind of going through. And I kind of wanted to present, certain conflicts that he's dealing with. I feel like I'm speaking so out of turn because it's such early days and we haven't even kind of finished working on the short.
Well, we can talk about something else that's maybe a little bit more...
No, absolutely. I'm really happy. I just feel like I had no idea I was going to talk about this. So I'm kind of like... I'm jazzed. I'm really kind of excited about it.
Dude, I'm excited for you. I didn't end up getting to do my short that I was doing in LA. I ended up moving instead.
I know, because I remember reading that script as well.
Oh, man. I miss it. I miss being, like, about to do that. And the thing is, too, like, the moral of that story that I had written was basically, like, don't take the job. Don't take the 9-to-5 job. Like, keep at it with your heart,
yeah,
with
but
your art.
How do you like that rent? I mean, it's good to kind of pay your rent, and eventually you get to a point where you cross over and you can do both, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, the reason that I moved and took this whole thing were there were several positives. There were way too many positives that outweighed the negatives, and most of them were like, okay, I get to save some money, I get to, live in New York for a while, I get to gain this title and solidify this title of senior editor for several years, possibly cash out on some equity once I leave the company in a couple years. So there were a lot of positive things, and worst case scenario, I can always just move back. It's not, I'm still ending up in LA. Like, that's like a win.
But I think it's very hard not to kind of go with the bird in the hand,
Yeah.
And it's still, you're still doing stuff you love, and it's I hear you.
Totally,
but,
yeah.
You wanted to make the move as well. I remember you were pretty kind of excited about moving out.
I was. Dude, it's been like a really emotional thing too, because it's even like, because the whole thing is like, oh, I'm gonna move to New York. This is gonna be great, and then I moved here, and then I kept everyone not kept everyone at a distance, like on purpose, but I was trying to do so many things that I never got fully invested in, like, any true, like, close friendships in the last 6 months, because it was like I was trying to hang out with everybody. And over the course of 6 months with a full-time job and, like, still trying to go out and still, like, date and stuff like that, you don't really have time to, like, cultivate an actual close circle. But I was right there. I was just ready to start slowing down with everything. And then the pandemic happened, and now I'm really fucking slowed down. So, but I'm only with myself, so I figured, hey, I'm gonna do this. I actually want to. So you're I want to do something. This is like a part that I've been doing in the podcast. I want to see if you can get really close to the camera, right, and make the entire frame your face. And I'm gonna take a photo.
Apologize to everyone watching in advance.
All right, back up so I can see the top and bottom of your head. There you go. Perfect.
I must be cross-eyed, no?
No, you look great. Smile. Yeah. All right. Let me take one more. One more. Sorry. Smile. Woo! That reminds me of like Woody from Toy Story. Smile. Woody from Toy Story. That's what you. It kind of looks like that.
That's me, man. Woody.
Now check this out. I'm gonna send you what you look like right now. I just sent you the photo.
Okay.
Let me know when you get it.
Foxy Noxy! Hey! That's hysterical.
There you go, boy.
That's hysterical. I'm getting so much shit from the rest of my cast about Foxy Noxy. It's hilarious.
Really? Everyone's saying that? I thought I just made that up.
You totally did, mate. You totally did.
Oh, thanks, man.
You totally did. It was actually Allison Wright, who's an incredible actress who's on the show. I think she was the first person to say it.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Sorry, man. But, dude, I wouldn't fuck with her, dude. She will take you down.
Who's that?
Allison Wright.
Allison
Check her out.
Wright. All right, I'm just gonna DM her and say, look. I know you think you made this up, but everyone already knows that I made it up because I put it on a T-shirt and put Iddo's face in an iPad.
I guess proof-wise, you're like ahead by a long shot. So I mean, you could definitely you could probably get away with that. So
listen, Allison, if you're watching, I did it. It's right here. First, I did it first. Sorry. She's gonna kill me, isn't she?
Gonna fuck you up. No, she's not. She's amazing.
Yeah. You have an incredible cast on this show that you're on. What are you talking about the second season? Did you guys already shoot it?
We got hit by the pandemic, so we shut down just before the ending of shooting it. Just before the end.
But so the premiere is coming tomorrow, actually. People that are listening, tomorrow is May 17th. In which case, it's probably already out. I doubt I'm coming out with this tonight. So
when does this go out?
Oh, this will come out probably in a couple weeks. Probably in 2 weeks.
In the near future.
The near future. In which case, we saw the show. I saw the show, and it's great. It's a great show. Everyone should go watch it.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Like it?
You're great in it.
Thanks, man.
And everyone else is great in it. I mean, what happened with do you know if they tried to get Tilda Swinton to be in this one?
No, I don't know if they did. But
that was the first thing you said when I brought up the movie.
They got Jennifer Connelly though.
I mean,
I mean, no complaints there, right?
No, not at all. Because that's the same character. That's the character that Tilda Swinton played, right?
Well, no. There is kind of like there is a possibility of like a crossover. I would say Allison Wright is more that character.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer Connelly's character more plays like the voice of the train. She is kind of like the head of hospitality, if you like. So she's got her hands in many pies. She does a lot for the train.
Lots of pie hands.
Yeah, pie hands.
I mean, checked out the IMDb page, and it looks like the cast is already at 107 people. Is what it says.
Okay.
Which is a big fucking cast. I mean, obviously there's so many people.
I did not know that.
Huh?
I did not know that. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of fun. Because the thing is, if anyone doesn't know, the premise of the show is that the world has frozen over. It's like is it the same thing as the movie? Pretty parallel?
The premise is the same. So, we're talking about a world that's been ravaged by global warming, and the leading scientists of the world feel like something needs to be done about it, and they plan to, in a certain amount of time, send chemicals up into the atmosphere to try and reverse the damage and to reverse the conditions in which people are living in. And it's getting to a point where it's abnormally hot, people can't survive, and there's one mind, Mr. Wilford, and he basically sees that this is going to be a huge mistake, and he decides to build a super train, kind of like an ark, a Noah's Ark, that will basically revolve around the planet on a track. Because he knows that everything that these scientists are going to do is going to cause the world to completely freeze over, and he's absolutely right, and that's what happened. So Snowpiercer is carrying the last remnants of humanity, and their fate has been to kind of circle the world in kind of like complete rotation until the world thaws out.
So just curious, because this involves it being an entirely different type of world where you can do that, because right now there's not enough land to go around the world, right?
Well, there is bridges, there is
okay.
We're talking about someone who, probably had more money than anything. And if you're talking about, you're talking about kind of like, brick and mortar construction, and you could pretty much do, I think you'd pretty much do anything if you had the money, right? So this is someone.
So that's what that character is.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah. But it's not, so it's not saying that like there's this alternative world where land, it's just saying that someone has basically money is irrelevant to them and they just own everything almost and can do whatever they want. So they.
Well, yeah, he's kind of like, I guess I kind of always compare him to someone like an Elon Musk, or, someone kind of like a genius inventor who, had plenty of resources and plenty of drive to kind of get that stuff done.
So you see the movie? So obviously you like the movie, right?
I love the movie. The movie was incredible. Yeah.
The movie's awesome. It's like Bong Joon-Ho, who just won the Oscar for Parasite,
which was also incredible.
That movie was so good.
That movie was just like a masterclass of storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you're like 10 minutes in, you're so involved, you're so rooting for this family of pretty like questionable characters. Mm-hmm. You're like getting so much joy every time another person gets hired by that family.
Yeah. And it's also like such a simple story. It's a simple story. I mean, obviously there's underlying metaphors and everything like that, but it's actually got, again, it's one of those stories that are sort of written in an attainable vibe. You can feel it. You feel like you can touch it. You feel like you can write it. And those stories are, well, one, they're kind of really hard to write, but those are really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of Slacker, the Richard Linklater movie. And
okay.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that yet, no.
It's just like basically it's based off of string theory, where it's just following one person and, what they're doing and who they're talking to, and then they pass by somebody else, and now it just follows that person. And then I
love that. I love that concept already.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going and going. And
you almost always want films to start at that, like introduce someone at the beginning and have you follow them doing something pretty cool, and then suddenly like they walk into a shop and you're left with some guy standing in the middle of the street, and suddenly like it's his movie. So that's what this is, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. I recommend you watch it. It's actually it was like a Sundance sensation, like in
I've heard about it. But
yeah. But
I'm writing it down. There's so much to watch, though.
I know. I mean, if it helps, this is like an 88-minute watch, I think.
Oh, I think I give Richard Linklater 88 minutes.
Yeah, give him a little bit of time. But anyway, so with simple writing like that in Parasite, that was just so. It was just amazing to watch, and so from the same brain doing something as. On paper, it seems pretty simple. The idea that everyone's trapped in a train that's revolving around the world, And it's actually kind of funny because they do the thing in the movie where they celebrate New Year's Eve when it completes a circle.
Uh-huh.
If that doesn't spoil anything, do you guys do the same thing in the show?
Well, no, but we do refer to years as revolutions.
Okay, cool. Oh, really?
Which is pretty cool, yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
How many revolutions are you? Is that like same thing with age? Like you're 44 revolutions old?
Well, I guess if you were born on the train, but no, I think we just refer to time in that sense. I'm 44 revolutions old. How did I get to 44?
Do you feel 44?
Yes.
You do?
No, I mean, like, you just kind of, everything's just slightly drier and stiffer. Everything is just like, you're just not quite as hydrated,
Yeah, I hear some of the keys to old age. Not even old age. You're not even old. What are we talking about?
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay.
I'll be 33 this year.
Okay.
But I'm starting to see what could happen. Like if I don't maintain for a little bit, I'll take like a month off of like taking vitamins.
You're not a smoker. You're a smoker. You're not a smoker. Right?
Quit smoking.
Okay, so that's great. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I think that all that shit is kind of like, that's the kind of stuff that,
Do you
really,
smoke cigarettes?
I mean, I used to, and it was like, but I'm so old. It's almost like excusable for someone my age to have smoked because I was almost like around. Because I was almost like around when there was like ads for it, and I grew up watching all those fucking like Corey Feldman and and all those like License to Drive, all those stupid movies that had like, I mean, they're like classics as well, but everyone used to smoke and everyone like, so now smoking is just kind of like, who does that,
Yeah, I mean, I miss it. I truly miss it. I actually used to have friends.
Yeah, obviously you miss it. Obviously you miss it. But it's kind of like it's almost like it's a different part of you. It's almost like a different character that lives inside of you. Mm-hmm. The guy, the John Ryan who smokes is like this guy who's fucking like carefree, doesn't have a worry in the world, he doesn't care about the future. Yeah, I'm cool as fuck, like, man. Living in the present, just smoking. And you got to like shut that guy down and go, you know what? There is a future, and it probably won't look very good if I continue doing this. Yeah. But yeah, I've been back and forth with that stuff. It's been like a really bad thing for me. But my wife Ashley is, she's never like put up with it. So she hates it. Oh, hates it with a passion. Yeah. So yeah. I've been very lucky about that.
I'm looking forward to dating someone. It's always nice to date someone that's like 50% more responsible than you, at least, You
just ended the sentence with like dating someone, and then you kind of started talking about something else.
No, I'm sorry. It's always nice
to... you said, I'm looking forward to dating someone, and that was it.
And that's it. I just want to date someone. I would love to. No, I'm looking forward to dating someone.
John Ryan is a catch.
It's nice to date someone who's like 50% more responsible than you, so that you have, because inevitably when we're children and then we become not children and you live alone, you kind of have that thing where you're like, no parents, I can smoke cigarettes. I can smoke cigarettes inside. Fuck it, dude. I can drink on a Monday. I can have, fucking ice cream every night or whatever. All these little things.
When were you like your first cigarettes?
I had my first cigarette when I was 17. And I'm 32 now. So I don't even know how to do that math. I would assume that's like 10 years.
Dude, that math like cracks my head. It just goes. So wait, how did that happen? What were you doing?
Okay, so it started because I was 17 and I hung out with a lot of skaters and ironically, they love skating. I mean, they love smoking, right? And so it started with, I actually went to like a hookah bar, and that was my first thing I inhaled was a hookah thing, right? gateway. All right.
Gateway drug.
So then
Drug.
I didn't even like hookah. I just liked that I was doing hookah or whatever. I was smoking hookah.
Yeah.
And then I was at some suburb party in my hometown in Corona, California. Ironically, it's Corona, California. But there was this kid. His name is CJ, and he would always smoke cigarettes. And I was like, "Let me see what this is all about," because I was like, "Now I smoke now. I had some cranberry hookah. Okay, I smoke now. So let me see what a cigarette's all about." So I, had some of his cigarette, and I was like, "I don't get it. I don't feel anything." And they're like, "You're not supposed to feel anything. Maybe a little bit more relaxed." And I was like, "Okay." So I think after that, I just kind of started doing it here and there. Started working at nightclubs, so obviously you're just around it a lot. And I didn't really get into drugs when I was at nightclubs working and stuff, but I did get into smoking a lot. But yeah, I don't know. Do you ever wonder what you'd be like if you just never smoked or drank or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd be like a foot taller. I think I was like 13 when I started. I think I was 13 when I started, and we were all.
Where were you? Where were
I
you?
was in London, and it was my friend Elon Young, who I've not seen for years and years. Hi, Elon. And he is. We had an incredible house. It was like a dream house, and had this huge backyard, and we got this tent outside. We were allowed to kind of sleep in the tent outside. So we were going to smoke that night, and
Wait, you had planned beforehand? You're like, all right, tonight's the night.
Oh yeah, it was all planned.
Do you remember the kind of cigarettes?
I can't remember what they were called. I think they were called Benson and Hedges.
Okay.
Does that make? I don't know. And we called them on the phone. We called them spiders.
Code line.
Yeah, I was like, how are we going to get spiders? And he was like, don't worry, my parents' spider.
Okay.
We all got busted that night, so it was very dumb.
Well, what ended up happening?
We got busted. I think someone crawled up to the tent and kind of found us. I mean, it was a very bad security situation. We should have had someone on watch, but we didn't. And we got busted by, I think, his aunt, who was there with his parents, and she grassed on us.
But I'm curious about the first time you actually you didn't end up smoking?
Well, we ended up smoking a little bit, but it was kind of just headaches and just feeling nauseous. I mean, it's the first time you're inhaling fucking gasoline.
I know.
How else is that gonna? How else? We should talk about something else. The smoking thing is terrible. It's a terrible thing.
It makes you want one?
Terrible thing. No. I'm done. I'm done. It's a terrible thing.
It is, man.
I did want to mention that there's a really cool film called The Attaché coming out on Monday. Do you know about that film? Matt D'Elia's movie that he wrote. Do you know about that short film?
What? Wait, what? You
know Matt D'Elia very well, though.
I do. We did an episode on the podcast.
Okay, so Matt D'Elia wrote. This is 6 Degrees of Separation. This is very incestuous. This podcast.
I know.
He wrote this film called The Attaché with an incredible director called Andrew Stringer, and it's coming out online on Monday. I don't know if you can find. I have the link.
How did he not mention this when I interviewed him? That's crazy.
Maybe you were talking to him about smoking, or something. He smoked like a fucking chimney. Wait a second. Okay, so wait a second.
I gotta find that. Look at his handsome photo on his IMDb, huh?
Who's that, Matt?
Yeah. Well, it looks like he's got. It's weird because he has all these things coming up. He has Boss Weed, Powder Keg, and 361. Is he not credited on Attaché?
I'm sure he is.
Is that even possible?
I don't know. You should probably speak to him, see if you want to include any of this. But I mean, I'm surprised that he doesn't. Can I text you the link?
Yeah, text me.
Where you can watch it on Monday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yes, I would love to. Watch that. I got Snowpiercer tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, I mean, the movie, the short it's so great. It's a real flex from Andre, who's really cool and has directed some beautiful things. So it was made really, really well. So I think it's really cool. But anyway, I'll send you the link, and The Attaché comes out on Monday. That'll be the 18th, and this would have been out after then. So
yeah,
it's all about greed and power and wants and desires, and how desires kind of mislead us sometimes. And it was a very human story. It's really cool.
Love them human stories, man. I wanted to talk about your, music video career. Is that fair to say?
Music video career? Oh, you're frozen.
Oh, you're frozen too. Oh, yeah, now you're good.
Okay. There you go.
So
1 second. Just close the door.
is doing music videos, is it just like a fun thing for you to sort of keep your director muscles strong?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a certain kind of there's just a certain need to do stuff. Your body's kind of telling you that you need to do things without being too poetic about it. I feel like sometimes I'm just so desperate to go out and create an image. I spent like 3 years, or just under 3 years, on Fairfax, taking pictures of strangers and kind of pictures of the street. And
you did one of the you kind of just asked strangers. You walked around and asked strangers to take photos.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. And
how did you choose the people? If they just looked interesting, or
well, to begin with, you're kind of you ask everyone, but then then you kind of realize, oh, I can actually ask people who kind of look really interesting, or who look really interesting to me. So they might not appear really interesting to anyone. Regardless of that, you are, you're speaking to someone who you didn't think that you'd be speaking to at all. There was no, the chances of you ever speaking to that person were virtually nil. And suddenly, you're speaking to someone. Yeah. So I found that really kind of gratifying, and that was because I kind of got into film photography a few years ago. Watching people online like Matt Day. I don't know if you ever go online and watch videos about film photography and stuff, but I obviously took pictures with film years ago when, that's how you took pictures before the Canon X's came out.
Right.
But obviously then I kind of didn't touch it, and then I kind of fell in love with it. There's a guy called Matt Day who has got this incredible YouTube channel, and he was the person who kind of taught me how to develop film at home, and he took you through this journey. He's really, really cool, and it's really great.
Wait, so you develop your own film at home?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
shit.
At the moment, I've tried. I'm trying to stop doing it. I've kind of given a lot of it over to labs and stuff, because it's really time consuming. And so if I shoot 4x5, which is sheet, big sheet film, I'll develop stuff at home, because it's just probably a bit easier, and it's usually 1 or 2 images.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to let a lab kind of do it now, because it is just so time consuming, and you have to take so many terrible pictures to get a really good one. Do you know the photography Larry Sultan?
I don't. No.
Okay. Can I show you something?
Yeah, of course. This
is Larry Sultan. it's not him, but this is his dad. He came out with this book called Pictures from Home.
Okay.
This is quite a few years old now.
Oh, is this just like people
So
through the window?
No. He goes and spends time with his family, and he like just takes pictures of the stuff he sees at home with his parents. Okay.
Wait, what's this guy's name?
He shot a lot of it. Larry Sultan, Sultan. But I mean, look at these images.
That's great. That looks great.
He's got.
For the listeners, it's these very seemingly mundane photos, but they actually look. You know, there's something to be said about what he's. The choice to be made to do a photo, take a photo right then and there.
The book itself is also just like a huge love letter to his father and to his mother, and the pictures are just so sensational. But he talks about. This made me laugh so much. He's talking to his dad about taking pictures, and his dad's always kind of like, he takes pictures with a view camera, which is a large format camera you set up. It's the one where you see everything upside down. You put the cover over your head, and you put a cartridge in your film holder. So it's kind of like slow photography, and you need someone to pretty much hold still or be doing something, or kind of hold on to what they were doing, so you can kind of get the image. And he talks to his dad about it, and his dad's like not like a big fan of it. And his dad's, I tell him that most of my photographs aren't very interesting, and so I just file the negatives away in boxes. And he says, "Well, I can't believe it. You shoot 30 rolls of film to get one or two pictures that you like. Doesn't that worry you?"
I mean.
It's so funny, and it made me laugh so much. But that is, I think that is kind of like what photography is, and you kind of think like, oh, this is going to be great, and you shoot a whole roll, and sometimes there's jack shit on that roll that you kind of.
I mean, that's even like going easy too. Like if you think about an ad, you use one or two photos, and you shoot. I mean, especially if you're doing it digitally, then forget about it. You're shooting, hundreds of photos for the one photo to get the one photo. But yeah, especially with film, it's like, what's great is that people are being, you have to be much more careful with film. There's something else that feels different to want to get the right image with film, because I think it's because you have to reload it. Like if you didn't have to reload it and you could just keep shooting film, I think people wouldn't really care about the monetary cost, I think they would just care about taking the time and like breaking the rhythm to have to then reset and then have the subject reset their rhythm and kind of get back in there.
It's definitely such a physical thing. Mm-hmm. It's such a I feel very. Listen, I don't think it matters. Ultimately, if you look at a picture and that picture says something to you, then it doesn't. There's no way it matters what camera you took it with. And there's that famous cheesy saying: the only camera that matters is the one you have with you. So
it's actually good. I never heard that before.
But that's the reality of it. But I love the process of loading in my film, putting it in. Mm-hmm. And there is something about colors that film renders to me, and I might be the only person that sees it, that are kind of just really special and creamy and just just alive.
I'm drawing a blank on exactly what this guy's name is, but his name is Robert Wu, I want to say.
No.
But he does these long exposures with, and then he'll send a drone out there and light up a landscape with the lights on the drone.
That's so cool.
And long exposure and just light up this whole thing, so it kind of looks like artificial light without a source.
So, what's his name?
Just look up.
Sounds so cool.
Look up long exposure drone.
Okay.
Drone.
What we like? We know the name of no one. Okay, long exposure.
It's I'll find him. Oh, here we go. His
wow.
name. It's this right here. So if that's like he shot that.
That is wild.
Isn't that cool? It's Ruben Wu, Reuben Wu. Listeners and viewers, please look up this guy. He's amazing. I'm gonna try to get him on the podcast because he's so incredible at what he does, and he's doing a lot of like ads right now. I can see because he's like kind of the first one to pioneer this and really master it. But you know, you can see that he's got a lot of good stuff like that. That's like one of the things. So the guy that told me about him is another photographer. But the technique is basically just opening up and walking around with a light source. And now that there's drones, you attach something called a loom cube to the drone, right? And then you just send that thing off. You can even program it to like do a certain lighting pattern, and it's great.
Wow.
Dude, what is that? For listeners, it looks like he has a... it's over ocean. It's like a sunset, and there's a cloud, and it looks like there's a light ring around it, like a halo. That's incredible.
That's incredible.
And like you can
Looks like a planet.
Yeah, it looks like a cloud planet. That's insane. Like a Saturn cloud.
Wow.
So Ruben Wu, yeah, man, that guy. I don't know. I don't know what he shoots on. I assume it's film. You know, medium format at least. I mean, it could be digital. Who knows? But, you know, stuff with drone. Have you got into any drone stuff? I know we were talking about doing it. We almost did a drone video together, but then it became like complicated.
Yeah, it became complicated. You know what? We still will. I picked up that really tiny drone that DJI brought out recently.
Mavic 2?
Yeah, not the 2, the one below that, the $300 one.
Oh, like the Spark?
Mavic Mini.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of been fun, but you know, obviously we've been in this kind of weird kind of situation, so I haven't really been out and kind of messed about with it too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like I'm gonna give much to the world with my drone work. It was just kind of like a fun thing for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're such cool tools. They're really, really beautiful. Really, I mean, the stuff you get out of those things is really, really special.
Yeah, it really is. And I was kind of at a point where I started to learn so much with drone photography and videography when I did that music video for. There's a band called Outside that I did this music video for. It's all in one shot. It's all a drone, and it involves some dancing and choreography. And
I know that band.
You heard of that band?
Yeah,
dude. I can't believe
Outside are fantastic.
Outside's a great band, and I actually have a video that's still supposed to come out with them. Hopefully, it'll be soon. We're just waiting for the final mix.
It's the guy with the guy sweeping behind them.
That's right. Yeah. Again, it's like
the other day.
You watched it again?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Cool.
It's really great.
There's a new. I don't know which version you have, but I messed with the color so much, and I tried to do all these different things with it, and you know, so I'll send you like the one that I have now. But I think I added like a lot of zooms and like, you know, so you kind of like have a point of reference on where to look every time. But yeah, I mean, so I love doing this stuff with drone stuff. I felt like because you can't really fly drones in New York, like at all.
Your drone video, one thing that you did for Outside was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That was really amazing.
Dude, and you know what?
Was that all one shot?
It was all one shot, baby.
That was great.
And they were...
We're talking about this band Outside. If you haven't heard their music, they're really great. On Spotify, iTunes, Outside.
They're a great band. I mean, when do you think it is till they pop, man? They're around the corner, I feel like.
Very soon. Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, it's just, I think it's just the right people kind of hearing their stuff and they're gonna fly. Really, really, 3 fantastic guys.
Yeah, I've got my chips.
Winston,
betting on them for sure. So Jake, Winston, and Sam, and good people.
We love them.
We love them.
It. We love you, boys.
They came and stayed here. Sam slept right there when they came and visited.
Christian, who shot Static,
Mm-hmm.
is another member of the crew who is very worth bringing his name up. He's
CGTV on Instagram.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of great stuff with them, and you can follow Outside on Instagram by going to Outside, which is kind of incredible that they got that name.
It's insane that they got at Outside.
At Outside, yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, doing the videos for them was very much a need to kind of go out and create. Like the photography is, you know, I love acting, and I can't wait to get back to it. I can't wait, you know, I can't wait for things to get back to normal. It's been such a like a world tragedy. It's just, I just feel like it's going to take us so long to recover from it. It's, you know. Yeah.
Do you have any like expectations on like when, or maybe just hypotheses and like?
Well, you know, what's interesting is, you know, like I've been lucky enough that, you know, my family's well, and, you know, a very close friend of mine, Eugene, got very sick, and you know, thank God he's made it, and he's, you know,
from COVID.
I don't know why I said thank God. I'm not really sure, but I think like thank the universe.
Thank the simulation.
He made it through. But you know, there's so many people that are going to be dealing with loss after this. You know, so I don't know. You know, it's crazy. I can't even begin to say how long things are going to get back together. And but I think when things are back together, I'm really looking forward to kind of getting back to work. And you know, it's such a passion, and really keeps me going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, same here. You know, I was like around the corner from trying to do some stuff out here, like independently, and I think I can still do that because I think, you know, most productions are going to be, from what I'm hearing from a lot of people that I've interviewed, is that it's going to come down to people that are multifaceted, people that can light things, people that can shoot things, and people that can direct things, and other people that can do similar things, and they all work together. Because I don't think that we're coming across any like 300 person crew anytime soon, any 50-person crew anytime soon. I think that it's going to come down to 15-person crews at most, and scenes with very limited people. Ideally, one person every scene. You know what I mean?
I also think that, you know, ultimately it kind of comes back to the liability thing. Like who's liable for people's health on a production? You know, like how you kind of work around the insurance element of it all. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, because I mean, yeah, are people just going to write stories where, you know, people are just stood like 6 feet away from each other?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ultimately people are just going to want to know that they're being healthy. But you know, like back in the day when I first started working, you know, you'd kind of get on a job and you'd be very close to all the people that you were working with. So there is the idea of, you know, testing people and getting like a big group of people together, and almost like quarantining and making a production at the same time.
Yeah. I mean,
but then that doesn't really sound too realistic. But
it doesn't. But I hear that's how, like, again, to bring up Linklater, I hear that's how he's done a couple movies. He's like for the what's that one? Okay.
Hold on, just one second.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But yeah, there's some movies where people are able to go and just kind of stay in one hotel and get the movie done in 30 days, right?
Yeah.
That's how they did that movie, that Linklater movie, Everybody Wants Some. They all stayed on a farm. and then they like went to various locations in Texas, I believe, and got the movie done. But I mean, yeah, how realistic is that, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean,
but it's good. You're gonna be able to do some more scrappy stuff where it's just like you and like two guys or girls.
I'm all about the scrap. That's the last
scrap.
Linklater movie I saw was Boyhood.
Mm-hmm. What are you looking up?
The last Linklater movie I saw was Boyhood.
How'd you like it?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Ethan Hawke, man.
What a guy.
What a dude. He's
Yeah.
so watchable. I just love the way that character developed and how that character was portrayed in that movie. Because the minute he came on, you're like, this guy's a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But you're just like, he becomes just the most amazing father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, dude, yeah. Everything just was so real in that movie, and he has a way of making you feel like you're like in the movie somehow. I know it sounds weird, but
Yeah.
like I went and saw that movie probably like 5 times in theaters because it was all different experiences. I saw one time I saw it with David Sullivan actually, and because he was from Texas and he was like, and I think there was something with him and Linklater, like he figured, he's like, dude, we can go talk to him because he was gonna be there at the Q&A or whatever, and David's funny, man.
That's so like David Sullivan.
He has no like.
Go talk to him.
He has no like barrier. He's just like, let's just go hang out with him. One time I was in an elevator with him, and then Moby got in the elevator, and David just goes to me, and I'm like, shh. Like, you can't just point at the fucking guy. You can't just point at Moby and go, look, Moby's right here. And yeah, so David just has that way. David Sullivan, if anyone doesn't know, great actor, but
Is he prime?
Yeah. But anyway, man, I hope you end up doing some more shorts. I think you should probably do some shorts during quarantine. You got time, right? You got nothing to do.
Well, I'm going to finish this one, so I think my time with that is
that's true.
using my time for that, and like I say, like I get up early, go out and take some pics.
You go shoot every day?
Yeah, I started kind of working on just like kind of started reading. I mean, I'm very late to kind of studying the photographers and all the people that were here, and kind of got all these kind of movements going, like Stephen Shaw and Robert Frank, all those boys. I'm very kind of ashamed to say that I'm very late to all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just kind of shooting things that they just loved, and they just wanted to. I don't want to talk too much about that, but yeah, I'm basically going out and shooting every morning, and then sometimes a little bit before kind of dinner and stuff. That usually kind of keeps me creatively satiated, and in between I'm kind of finishing this short film.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just really excited for the show to come out and for Snowpiercer to come out, and hopefully people get a kick out of it. And
so how did that work? So you did the first season, but then they were just like, the order was for 2 seasons?
No, the order was for 1 season, and I guess they dug it, and they just, they got us to go back and make another season. And the show is just, it's so much fun, and it really, and it picks up, and it really kind of, no pun intended, it really picks up speed, like the fact that the train's moving, and you get to know all these characters, and in the film we have a story of people kind of working their way from the back all the way to the front of the train.
Right.
So you do get to see the train, but some carriages they just kind of completely walk through, and I think that the luxury that you have when you tell the story from a TV perspective, the kind of the multitude of episodes you get to tell the story, you're able to kind of jump around the carriages of the train, introduce more characters, and tell more stories.
Is there like some sort of romance thing with you and Jennifer Connelly's character? She like pushes you up against the wall in the trailer.
He's just gonna have So he's
Oh man.
man, you know.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch definitely tomorrow when it. Well, it's actually digitally. How do I watch it?
TNT, if you're here in the States, and everywhere else, it'll be out on Netflix. I think the 25th, or maybe that's just the UK, but Netflix will be streaming it.
Oh no. Okay. Well, great. Yeah. And so I saw there's this other actor, David Diggs.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
Ridiculously cool, man. Just like
you had fun with him?
you know, everyone had, and I think he was such a great. And I think he's great casting for the part, but he's also just like, he's such a talent, and he's just super generous and kind, and you know, we've been kind of, everyone's been keeping in contact, and you know, he's a great, you know, he plays like the leader of kind of like the tail section of the train. You know, he's the person that gets pulled out of the train, and he kind of goes out into the train to. They find out that he was a homicide detective before the freeze, and there is like a murder that happens on the train. That's the impetus. It's kind of the inciting incidents to get him out of the tail, which is where all the people who didn't have tickets to board the Snowpiercer fought their way onto the train just before departure. So these people have been kind of out of the natural light for like 7 years. Fuck. And he gets pulled out of that section of the train to go and solve a murder.
And where does Foxy Noxie come in?
Foxy Noxie. Bennett Knox is, you know, he's an engineer. He's part of the train. You know, he was a very early member of the construction of the train. So he knows a lot of what's kind of happening on the train, a lot of stuff that a lot of people are not so privy to the train. But, you know, his day-to-day job is sometimes he's controlling the train. Sometimes, you know, even though, you know, the train is moving regardless on tracks, you know, there is always kind of like a system of detecting any problems that are lying ahead. These tracks aren't serviced, you know, they're just out in the cold. So if things need to happen up ahead, there's people kind of watching what's kind of coming up, or with satellite and stuff. So there's always stuff to do, and there's always like all these systems of the train. We're also talking about a train that's been on the tracks non-stop for 7 years. So problems come up, and this thing is slowly breaking apart as well. So stuff always needs to be maintained and fixed. So they keep him pretty busy. You know?
Well, dude, I'm super stoked to watch it tomorrow. So Netflix soon? Yeah,
Netflix definitely for the UK on the 25th.
Okay.
With weekly episodes, but I think the first week will have 2 episodes.
Okay. So it's a slow release, so you gotta... What's great is that it's kind of great because the way that TV normally worked was the same exact way as that, where you had to watch every week a new episode. And it's weird how Netflix is slowly getting back into that format, where one episode's coming out a week, and it's like you gotta wait.
I know.
It's funny. It's just going exactly back to the same shit.
I know. There is plenty of good stuff though, so to keep you busy while you're waiting. But I will say, you know, before we sign off, it was really, you know, it was a really fun job, and there's just like some great people on it, and everyone was just so good. You know, really great. So yeah, I hope people dig it.
Dude, I'm so excited to watch it tomorrow. Iddo Goldberg, Foxy Noxie, Bennett Knox. Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Dude, for sure. Thank you for having me, John.
Really great to see you. And hope to see your short soon. Let me know.
Absolutely. I'll keep you very much posted. Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. I'll see you soon.
Cheers for having me. Cheers for having me, man.
All right.
Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to that episode or watching that episode of Face to FaceTime. If you were only listening to that episode, please, well, keep listening also. But I recommend sometime in your week, in your future, that you check out the YouTube channel also. There is a very strong visual component to this. that I think you would benefit from, entertainment-wise. Since we do talk a lot about photography and stuff, there is some stuff that he shows me. I do describe it in the episode, but this could happen again, and maybe you won't really understand. I think that basically just do the subscribing and the liking of the YouTube channel. I really enjoyed this conversation with him. That was cool, man. It was really cool to talk to someone who we've been on similar levels of directing and editing stuff. Really excited for Snowpiercer because I loved that movie. I thought it was great. And if you haven't checked it out, I assume that that show's already been out by the time that this episode's coming out. But if you haven't checked it out by now, please go check it out. I'm assuming that it's great already. Thanks for checking this episode out, however you are. And again, make sure and like and subscribe and rate and review and tell me that I'm pretty. I need to be told I'm pretty. Thank you. My name is John Ryan. Thanks for watching and listening, downloading, whatever you're doing. Thanks.